My next guest was one of our very first Heavy Chef speakers in 2007. She's a singer, a songwriter, a motivational speaker, and an advocate for the environment. Her name is Verity Price, and she joins me on the Heavy Chef hot seat today. Verity, welcome back to Heavy Chef. I mean, you were one of the first speakers back in 2007. When you look back now, how does it feel to see the progress that Heavy Chef has done?
It's absolutely extraordinary. I mean, we were in an apartment, on Sea Point Main Road. There was maybe 10 people there, and like anything, when it starts, you have no sense of just what is incubating then. And so now when I come to an event, and I just see hundreds of people just pouring in, eager to hear the speakers. It's just beautiful to see what starts from like simple beginnings and what it grows into.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, you're a singer, songwriter, amongst many other amazing things. But when you came out to Heavy Chef, you were here to speak about your campaign, which was a crowdfunding campaign for an album. Can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, so that started in 2005 when I discovered, just realized I didn't have the money to record an album. It was going to cost 300,000 Rand.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a lot of money then, a lot of money now. And so after moaning about how hard it was to be a musician for a good 2 years, I realized time to get creative and came up with an idea to ask people to buy my album before I recorded it.
Oh, wow.
And contribute 10% to charity as we went. And we just didn't realize at the time that it was going to be one of the world's first online crowdfunding campaigns. Worldwide Creative, that Fred was heading up then, they built the website platform for me, and we started asking people to buy something that wasn't there. And it just has taken me on a journey that changed my life.
What was that response like? Because people are putting trust into something that they haven't really heard yet.
Yeah, so it was amazing. It obviously started with family and friends, and then they spread the word, and suddenly I'd get a request for an interview for like a South African newspaper in London, and then a trend spotting website in Europe picked it up. And so it takes people that are forward thinking to support something that's so new. And the thing I've realized since then is all the people that stepped up behind me and said, let's go for it. If I had to track many of their journeys, they've then backed their own dreams as well. But it took time. It took a year to sell the first 400 because people weren't used to buying stuff online that wasn't there. And then, it just built, and we eventually sold 2,000 copies of Nothing in 25 countries around the world.
Wow. And how do you think crowdfunding has changed now with technology being such a large part of our society?
Well, the platforms that are available now are incredible, and they have their own reach. When I started, there was no platforms like that. Now suddenly they've come in, and you've got Kickstarter and Thunderfund and these amazing, Backer Buddy as well if you're wanting to do it for a cause. So it's definitely grown. It's obviously a lot more noise in the space. So it's harder potentially to get people to talk about your crowdfunding campaign. You have to be a bit more innovative. At the time, I was one of the only people doing it. But now I think you've got a far wider reach.
And in terms of youngsters or just future creatives who want to get into a crowdfunding project or start their own, what would you say to them?
I think you have to have an idea that's going to excite your audience, and they need to see that vision, that end vision of where is this going, what's the difference this idea is going to make, because that's what people buy into and that's what excites people. And then, the give back that you have for them needs to be something that they want. So you have to find a way to create a buzz and stand out above all the noise in the crowdfunding space so that people want to share your project and get their friends to commit as well.
Just from some of your experiences, do you have just a couple of tips for a person who wants to start a crowdfunding project? Just your secret tips that you use to start yours.
Gosh, I didn't know. Again, it was a bit like Heavy Chef. I didn't know what I was starting when I started. But I think the things that helped my journey was my communication to my fan base.
Okay.
So I kept them. I had a blog. I had newsletters. And because I was giving 10% to charity, I did that as we waited for the funds to get raised. So, if I raised 15,000 Rand, I'd immediately give 1,500 Rand to people opposing women abuse. Or I'd send them a picture saying, look, I've just helped this musician, record a demo. So they could see that while they were waiting for their finished product, that I was already making the difference I'd promised to make. So you have to back up whatever promises you've made, and people bought into that. I think they bought into the fact that I was passionate about this idea and that I was actually doing what I said I would do.
Verity, I know you're also quite passionate about the environment. What are you currently working on at the moment?
I have gotten very passionate about the idea that inconvenience is the disruption that our future needs. If we're going to save this planet, if we're going to save industries, we have to inconvenience ourselves now and disrupt the way we do things. So I speak on that particularly to do with single-use plastic, and go into corporates and speak to them about how they could inconvenience the way they work in order to innovate around the single-use plastic crisis, change the way they are offering products to their clients, to their customers, and also just the way they work in their businesses to enhance innovation and creativity, because often our best ideas come when life gives us an obstacle. So for me, if you invite inconvenience in and you create obstacles, you're actually going to enhance your creativity. And a great place to start is by changing your relationship to single-use items.
Would you ever combine your two passions, the environment and the music?
Absolutely. I've already taken one of my songs, Devastation. I've created a video for it with very heart-wrenching pictures of the plastic crisis. I use that in my keynote to actually sing while these images play behind me. And I'm busy working on some more songs that are relevant to environmental issues, and I'm speaking to the big environmental organizations about actually doing a crowdsourcing project where we invite people to make viral videos about climate change, about the climate crisis, about single-use plastic, but they can use my music as their backing track for creative inspiration.
Amazing.
So that's kind of the next evolution. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So Verity, what are you currently working on at the moment?
So my journey from being a singer who asked people to buy an album that didn't exist resulted in me becoming a speaker on innovation and on thinking differently, which was very unexpected. And from that, it's grown into facilitation. So I go into businesses and I help, executive and management teams disrupt the way they're thinking, to ask new questions about the problems they're facing. So while they might not be coming up with a crowdfunding idea, they're looking at how could they improve employee engagement or customer interaction. And I have strategic thinking tools, lateral thinking tools that they can use to make that happen. And it's been amazing. It's kind of my journey of being the person complaining about the obstacle has taught me that a lot of people complain about the obstacles in their journey of life. And if you can actually empower them with tools and techniques to get around that and get to where they're going, that's when I'm happiest.
Verity, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me. We can't wait to see you on our Heavy Chef stage again.
I'm excited to be there.